Ya empezamos. Nuevo cortinilla. Esa es la cortinilla. Vamos a seguir tratando de resolver crímenes. Sí. Ayer ya no continué porque sabía que iba yo a... aquí está su placa. Sabía que me iba yo a entretener mucho en este vehículo.
A police badge on which you see the photo of a man. You. Some seaweed is stuck to the back.
At least something good came out of all this.
Encased between two durable plastic sheets is a bluish card with lines of information and a watermark in the shape of the street grid of Revachol West. You see a photo, a name, a rank, a document number, the date of issue, and, in the lower right corner, your precinct. The man keeps winking at you with his green-grey eyes. The photo is old, no doubt about that. But the badge is new. You used an old photo for a new badge. 8, maybe 10 years. The guy in the picture is rather good-looking. He's got a nice haircut and is distinctly lacking in massive sideburns. What do you think? His face is already contorted by the expression, although it looks less grotesque on him. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information on it.
Harrier, that's long for Harry. So you are Harry. Evrard was half right. Probably not a lot of people know your full name. Whoever told him you're Harry Dubois didn't. It's a wartime name, revolutionary. The kind mothers give their sons during troubled times, like Undying or Boxer or Ironhide.
A name like armor.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, Harrier Dubois.
The badge in your hands shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of...
Lieutenant W. Freighter. The lieutenant is a rank above sergeant and below captain. It's the highest rank in the RCM that still does field work. I am a lieutenant. The title of Yefreitor is added to your rank when you decline a promotion to a higher rank. In your case, Captain. You have declined twice, thus you're double Yefreitor. There are many reasons one would do this. The rank above you in your precinct's décomptage might be taken, or sometimes promoted officers do not want to replace their superiors out of respect. And sometimes they just prefer the type of police work available to their current rank, in your case, lieutenant. Décomptage is the hierarchical system employed by the Revachol citizens' militia. It means counting down to twos.
The countdown is modeled after the dual leadership system employed by the left during the revolution, which in turn was developed by last century experimental psychologists in the University of Königstein.
The lowest rank is junior officer, usually teenagers. Then there are the patrol officers, then sergeants, lieutenants, and then a captain. That's basically it, except for a few kings. Kings like satellite officers and the additional Yefreitor rank I already explained. You are given the title of satellite officer if your partner is quickly promoted through the ranks and you rise with him. You don't seem to be a satellite. My pleasure.
Such a small yet precious thing, expensive paper caught between thick plastic, like a fly in amber. It reads,
That's just the serial number. Revachol, Jamrock, Precinct 41, with some numbers thrown in there for good measure.
the numbers are not there for good measure. They have an administrative purpose, one that's unfortunately been erased from your memory.
4 months ago. I'm guessing that's when you were promoted to the rank of Lieutenant W. Freighter. A new badge usually comes with a new rank. You seem to have been doing well.
The case created a lot of edge you have to take off. The death mark, you're pretty sure you weren't doing well. But better? Probably yes.
Yes, it's the designation of your precinct. 41, like mine says 57. The 57th is mostly industrial harbor, a lot of asphalt. The 41st is... it's a tough station to work in. You have all of Jamrock to cover. That district should have 3 precincts, but money is what it is. But then again, it's a legendary district, and a hell of a station too. It must be an honor and a curse to work with people like Price, McCoy, Berdiaeva.
Roberts, Feuerbach, Dimitri. Suddenly, names from your decomptage. He knew all those people, although they're not from his station. They must be big. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information on it. These are some wonderfully regular pants. Not too tight, not too loose, moderate in every sense. You'll blend right in at some pleasant dinner party. I know you do. These inter-Isolari pants are like wearing a perfect compromise in your nether regions. You're a little more moralist now, buddy. A little more normal. Makes sense. This is what wearing boring office The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder.
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the...
Hey, tequila! Good to see you. How's business? How's the whole reality situation? So what's happening? Yeah, Tequila Sunset. How are the, high...
He says it like it's obviously your name. Like you call someone Billy Brunel or leader of the 4th Street gang.
Things aren't going super well for Idiot Doom Spiral either. Haven't found those keys yet, haven't won that great piece of ass back. No word from my business buddies.
Idiot Doom Spiral, huh? This is bound to be a good, high-concept conversation. At last.
We are saving the world. Please! Please don't go. Okay, we're drinking. We're drinking alcohol. That's what we're doing. I tried to save the world once, a long time ago. So now, it's a pirate's life for me. It's you. You're Tequila Sun. We've met before.
No, you sure don't.
Maybe. You look like you want to know how Tequila Sunset came to be. Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Tequila Sunset rolled into Martinez last Friday. And by Tequila Sunset, I mean you. The man, the myth. Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. This is your you got here on Friday to solve a case, hoping to be the early bird who gets the worm. And by the worm, I mean the buzz. Because as far as I know, all you did was get piss drunk. Word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer, and that it would be really fucked up if you shot yourself in the head, right in front of...
It is. The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually as he can.
It was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. Nothing remarkable about this, we get our drink. One moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving up somewhere on the plaza, followed by a series...
Do you remember the sound of wood cracking?
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. That's just the reality we're in. Anyway, there was a brief silence. A gasp of silence, if you will. Followed by a real commotion. We heard that sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed to the jetty. Never underestimate the speed of it. What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage containing you. Right, the time hath come! So, naturally, being the curious cat I am, I asked what time hath come. The time hath come for tequila sunset, the end of all things! Your reality contracted. You jammed the...
Your hands cramp on the steering levers.
We ran towards the ice, whilst you crawled your way out, miraculously unhurt, covered in seaweed. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. It was too late to get in there. Recognizing a brother in need, we offered our condolences and invited you to party with us. We asked about the whole tequila sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now and insisted that we all call you that from then on. No, that's just what your mother called you. Your real name is ours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then, at some point, how they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad. After a short while, you crossed the event horizon, looked...
Wow, that's quite a story.
Yeah, I bet tequila's a fucking legend around the precinct.
If you only knew.
You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers, whose main interest was... No specifics, though. It was more about you that night. You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked real hard, and that we...
No one's fucked me. I do the fucking around here. Abigail!
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through... Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope or heart or... In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one. Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need anyone to do it. You're doing...
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
Yeah, you said that you'd really behaved unreasonably and failed to uphold your responsibilities as a representative. You kept apologizing for being such a bad cop, and for the damage you've inflicted on every... You also kept pausing to knock the heel of your hand against your temples, saying, "Stupid, stupid, stupid." It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right, why not? Better than a beach bum. It depends, really.
You might get scammed here.
Booze. Did you already forget our party? The thing I relayed to you earlier. So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. Classy.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that? Don't call Abigail!
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder/junior partner at a high-concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. Abstract value generation. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. So I went jogging every so often to 22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical set of individuals. Worrying about them often kept me up, well, it did. With my trusty Sansariq tracksuit, I felt like I could conquer the world. But now dreams are... One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
His eyes are clouded. His dilated blood vessels encircling his eyes are your eyes.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, very quickly. Wet, okay? It was raining really hard. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox, which was useless. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. Ouch, indeed. Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgotten my apartment key. I wish I were, Tequila. I wish I were. Instead of my apartment key, I'd taken the key to the office. I rang my neighbor's buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something and hung up before I could even... People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one. Just then I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. I could wait out the storm there. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best... Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years. And so, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time.
Why didn't you go to the authority?
Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I didn't have any ID on me. So I can't say it increased my faith in the RCM. No offense, gentlemen. The hobo lifestyle definitely has some perks. Not having to pay rent, first and foremost. Not being responsible for 20 other people is nice too. But that charm wears off pretty quickly. Before you know it, you're wearing a shit-stained tracksuit and spending your days picking tear. I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift. Cottonmouth is keeping my tongue imprisoned. Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out on a beach in this formerly premium but now extremely dirty I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. I had a nice apartment. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket.
A lost jacket? Sounds like a mystery you could look into.
Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Sure, it didn't really go with my Lycra threads, but it did itch a lot less. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila? If I knew where I lost it, don't you think I'd have it? I mean, maybe I was up by the boardwalk, or walking along the beach, or checking out the abandoned fish market. Somewhere north of here, that's for sure. You could ask around, see if anyone's seen it. My agency. Man. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art with the lowest forms of marketing. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high-concept cultural incubator called Thin Air. The artists were happy, the clients were happy. I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing a new universal poetic language.
If it sounds like it makes no sense, that's because it doesn't.
I know. It was fucking awesome. Until I went on a jog, unleashing a cascade of... What? You've never seen 100% Lycra before? Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last...
Good God. It's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish skins together. You feel about 15% less human for having touched it. Randomized trials have also found Lycra, TN, to be associated with a number of exotic, highly malignant cancers. And then there's the smell. But you don't even want to think about that.
Wow, you're lucky. He never lets me feel it.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them any time. My fellow members of the Union of Moribund Alcohol...
Hey, Tequila! You want to buy some speed?
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. He's a cop, remember?
I thought he was a cool cop.
Don't call Abigail.
And this is Abs. So yeah, that's basically us. We drink together. I'm all ears, Tequila. You too, Tequila Sunset.
Don't call Abigail.
The noxious odor emanating from the drunken man is strong.
Don't you call her? Yeah! Don't call Abigail. Uh-huh. Abigail, don't you fucking call Abigail.
You're not going to get anything out of this guy. He's too drunk. He snorts and beckons you to lean.
Don't call Abigail. Don't call Abigail. Don't call Abigail.
The man hiccups, then mumbles something unintelligible.
There's no use in yelling at drunks. He's barely holding it together.
The drunk man starts coughing a really
Don't you fucking call her. Hear me? Don't call.
There was little chance he'd be a reliable witness anyway.
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy boy? So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. I also have speed. And by speed, I mean amphetamine. My kind of guy. Here you go, friend. Hi, by amphetamine I mean speed. Hi, that's what I said. Good, my man. Now what can I offer you? In the civilized world, it's a custom to tip the shopkeep, friend.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone. He can't be more than 5 years old. The other one looks indistinguishable from him. He watches his brother kick the stone with his tongue lolling out of his mouth. The kids don't reply. Absorbed, the stone-kicking one becomes frantic all of a sudden, as if that's something.
He looks just like me.
The boy doesn't answer. His brother throws another rock. Both of their hair is... The rock kicker was just being shy, but now he's in...
You're bad with kids. Don't worry, everyone is. How about we do some police work now? We're not getting anything here.
You're not sure about the melody, but it might be South Samaran, possibly Sigayan.
Welcome to the fishing village. Please lean in closer. I have cataracts.
Then how does she know you're here?
I still have a golden ear. Come. Oh, welcome, police officer. We don't cause any trouble around here. And we don't want...
We are not here to cause any trouble, madame.
No, you're not. I've seen you around here before. 12 years ago. You didn't raise any hell. You were quite helpful, actually. But still, in Martinez, you're considered an ill. No, not you personally. I meant the RCM. Some of the men got into a fight. One of them killed another. He was brooding, needed some help opening the door. You got it open for him.
She says it as if he was on some kind of spiritual retreat.
Oh, the usual. Dark.
That's you, all right. A black hound licking your own heels.
Maybe they are afraid. Because you're an ill omen. But you're still welcome here. As long as men with guns aren't chasing you. And maybe even then. I'm sorry there's not a lot of room to park the motor carriage. And not a lot of houses. Or a lot of people. My kids are long gone. Searching for trash. Ah, look at me ramble on. What brings you to us? What do you want with it?
That's an excellent question, ma'am.
Aye. Laundry fetchers are some of the most honorable people I know. Are you getting a reward for it at least? Good for you. Can't expect to receive help if you're not helpful. Anyhow, you might ask Lillian if she's seen anything lately. That girl's got a way of attracting lost and broken things. Stay? Most people here. That said, if lodgings is what you're looking for, I've got a free room in the shack. I won't charge you for it. Take it as a gesture of goodwill from the village to the RCM. Don't make an old woman regret opening her house to the police.
Well, if you are not in the hostel in the morning, I'll know where to find you. Here, in a shack.
Just us. It's barely a village anymore. This is pretty much a non-place. A gap. A blank spot on the map. Just a cluster of nameless shacks on a nameless...
The place is so pornographically poor, it's not even funny.
Over there, you can find more of the same. Shacks and trees, an old military hospital and its surroundings. Or it used to be. After the war, it was turned into a Goodwill hospital for shell-shock veterans. Now the area is crisscrossed with nameless streets. And makeshift cinder. The Goodwill ran out. The staff left and the place was shut down. It's long gone by now. Well, there's Lillian and her kids. A few new folks live in the house to the east. But and then there's the drunks. Not a pretty sight, but there's little we can do about it. I'm sure you did. Nature keeps them in rotation. A new face pops up every now and an old one disappears and is forgotten. This is here for you? No, officer. The only money we have here is some coins the drunks tried hiding from their women and then forgot about.
Under carts, boats, in little boxes, it's not hard to find. She nods, rinsing another piece of cloth.
Not much. There's the abandoned church, the DeLorean Church of Humanity. It's been there since before my time. Some things just don't fly, officer. Look around. Who'd go to church here? They built it 300 years ago. Must have been nicer then.
So, they don't hold services there anymore?
No, we've tried, but things just keep happening. Crime, accidents, other things. The place never stays open. It's a pity. It used to be. Before you get to the church, there's some ruins, an apartment complex, or some kind of electrical plant. Run-down bunch of houses, empty. I don't know exactly. A pre-war place. It used to be something. Before the war. I wasn't here then, you know. Of note, the old fish market up on the boardwalk. But it's closed. No one. That's why it's closed. It was once a bustling place. Back when now, what catch we do bring in goes straight into a lorry for the Delta or some... What? You're one of those real estate people with big plans? If you want a development opportunity, you can check out the abandoned building over at Land's End. Used to be a supply depot, we think, sending goods and ammo across the bay. And now you know everything there is to know about this coast. Me? No one. Just an old washerwoman. Mother called me Isabel, if that's what you're asking. And my married name is Sadie. Now it's your turn, Mr... What a handle you got there. So many titles. One of them double.
Mister?
She clutches a small stuffed animal. Occasionally, she twirls it around.
It's Lammy. He's my friend. Sort of. Like...
Lambie is a stuffed lamb that, admittedly, has seen better days. One of the eye buttons is missing, and the fur is tattered in several parts.
Lammy usually doesn't like strangers, but you're also fuzzy, like Lammy. It's a grouse.
You might be able to get on Gart's good side if you make up for the skua you broke.
Sure, just go and get it. I don't like it anyway. It looks angry.
All right, you just need to grab it from the ceiling and go.
My mom's outside, and I don't really know about my dad. Yes, they don't want to play with me. They're older and play outside. They look the same. Sometimes I can't tell them apart. They look identical. Bye!
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't look like he knows what that means.
Yes. Yes.
The scruffy-haired little boy. The door has seen better days.
I'll wait outside to give you some time and privacy to check out your new living arrangement. But just so you know, after we are done with the day, I'll still be staying in the whirling in rags for the night.
The key turns with a satisfying click. On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. A straight razor soaks inside the wash basin. The water reflects back a vague image of your face, nose bulbous and red. You'll be looking like a pansy without the chops. A fucking pansy. A fresh start looms ahead. Clean yourself up and be born anew. Like an artist with a brush or a master swordsman, you use the small mirror and the straight razor with some soap to remove all that. The sharp blade chafes against your skin, producing a scratching sound. The surface underneath the beard feels tender, the air brushing against it chilly. Beneath the doubt sprouts a new vigor, like you've discarded some bad decisions. It feels as though you've passed through a ritual, emerged from cold water even. The water reflects back a vague image of your clean-shaven face. Despite the bulbous nose, unkempt hair, and you almost look like a professional. An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see your reflection in it. The expression fixed to your clean-shaven face. You're still not accustomed to it. It's like something snaps in you, a nerve ending, a thought, a sadness. Your face in the mirror is suddenly clean of the layer that had distorted it for God knows how long. Just like that, it's over. The running gag that your life had become. A sad old man looks back at you. On the table, you see a bowl of...
Yes? Yes. I don't know what to say. Perhaps, I'm really not sure about this turn of events. I may have preferred the mutton chops. They sort of seem to cover up either way. Good on you. You were saying?
Hi, officer. Anything I can help you with? A fishing village on the seashore. This place doesn't really have a name. It's sometimes called Elysium. The sign on the street leading here is illegible. Has been since they built this place. The name is Lillian. People call me Netpicker. I think I have time for questions, and that was actually the second one.
Indeed, you're always confused as to your whereabouts.
Like I said, fish mostly. Sail the waves, take care of the kids, pick nets. Right now I'm tarring a little skiff. I sell the fish to people in the Delta to serve at their fancy restaurants. Sometimes I also walk to the beach to see what the sea has given up. The sea is full of surprises.
Keep it professional, man. Don't make it sound like you're hitting on her.
No le estoy tirando los trastos.
Wood, pieces of glass. Every once in a while we see dead bodies. Human, animal, fish, other odd sea creatures. A mine washed ashore once. Bottles, drugs also. Lost cargo in general. Most of the time.
All right. Major choice moment. You only
Una
get to
cosa.
ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
Well, you're barking under the wrong tree then, officer. I have no interest in floaters. Seen enough of them in my life already. Very unattractive bunch.
A ver. No sé si pedirle la chaqueta, que a lo mejor no la tiene, o pedirle la historia.
Remarkable. That one already lost everything else, and it's a good thing too that he has an actual police officer looking for it. Good old doom spiral.
That's odd. Is she actually impressed?
Aye. We all feel that way sometimes. Sometimes I wonder if I'm the protagonist. Anyway, I'd looked near the fish market north of here on the boardwalk. Drunks are drawn to markets for some reason. Was there? Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of story. It's to intimidate folks mostly. Not really. I know some basic moves, and I know it sure as hell beats a knife when you're in a tough spot.
But not when you're in a tight spot.
Guns are expensive and fragile, I think. Besides, I got kids. Can't have guns around them, and sometimes a sharp blade is enough to keep folks up. From time to time, people need a lesson in respect. That's just the way it is. Back in the day, I caught the eyes of many men. And believe me, men need a lesson in manners from time to time. No, I'm afraid not. Tempting to confiscate the blade I used to keep these animals in check. You would put me in an early grave. What makes you think we haven't? The truth is that almost everyone in this life is scared and tired. That goes for men too. But they put on an act for us. Pretend like everything's good and living in shit doesn't bother them.
That does not go for real men. It does not go for you. Coach means the expression.
Pero ya no la tengo.
Aye. No one wants to talk about how frightened they are. But only frightened people are really dangerous. Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Others were more thick-headed. And one of them, I ended up marrying. Guess I enjoyed the way he bled. Gone.
It absolutely does not. We are not going to look for him.
No.
Ya tenemos
There's
muchos
nothing to
casos.
find. He's dead.
Uy.
Lost to the waves. He didn't respect the sea. Went out there drunk like a skunk, and sure enough, one day the boat was found floating empty. The bloated corpse turned up. Now, before you tell me how sorry you are for my loss, know that it was 4 years ago, and I've moved on. There's only so much mourning you can do for a drunk with sinewy muscles. Us working folk don't have the luxury to be bedsick with melancholy. I buried him, mourned for an appropriate amount of time, and went on. Life didn't really change that much for me and the kids.
She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better, drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some
Yo
action.
creo que no.
Let's see. Who are you looking for? I don't think I know what these are. Care to elaborate? Aha! Like snowmen. Two odd guys have been wandering around here, nose in sand, talking nonsense about snowmen and the like. Right. Not only snowmen, also green men, monkey men burning rhinos.
Oh, you're getting it. And it is gorgeous.
Don't really know. Further down the peninsula, I guess. I mean, that's where they were heading. Who else are you looking for besides snowmen? Well, how can I assist you then, officer? Oh? Well, how can I assist you then, officer? Sure is. The sun, I call her, coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. It'll take some time for it to dry, assuming the sunny days continue. Aye. Sunny days. You got a problem with that?
No, ma'am. We have no quarrel with sunny days.
Good. It would have been bad news had it turned out it wasn't a sunny day. Bad news for the skiff. Bad news.
There's a moment's silence. She looks at the rain streaming down the yellow belly of the boat.
In time, when the sea turns and the winds settle, she will be...
My prediction, it will be at least 2 days. Oh yes, she does. You need to get your drink on. There is no other way for human beings to procreate. Not after 6,000 years of yeast cultivation-based mating rituals.
Okay. Where's this going? Absurdly and pointedly phrased.
She doesn't even understand.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. Oh. That's good to know, I guess. Why is it in the sea? This calls for a funeral, if you ask me. Feels deserved, don't you think? Falling in the line of duty like that and all. Why odd? Our things are a part of our life world. They're made with our human sweat and they share human history. We should care about them as we care about humans. To some extent, at least.
Life world. Someone's been reading up on last century Gotvaldian philosophers. Play it cool now.
Oh yeah? You won't even be able to get it out of the water before early June. And where you take it from someone who's been through a few funerals.
That's all we have time for right now anyway. Come back
qué
here
buena
in
fiesta
June
se
and see how
esquina.
you feel about it then. It's not like it's going anywhere. Yes, that is a pity. But for now, let's focus on the things we do get to do. Like the murder investigation, for example.
Agua fiestas.
Yes?
Ah, es la iglesia.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kituragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic...
Nice to meet you.
Yes, hypertext, young carp, and the collection of cultural hyperlinks. Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers. Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into verbs.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark.
Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotate manufacturer remains. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global... Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve. Or should I say, they were developing an ace up their sleeve? I'm mixing my metaphors here. It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer. An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, which is a feat of engineering, even today's giants.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D. Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that...
A pleasure wheel?
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was... Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about...
Wait, is he saying that we should just bypass the excesses of the revolution?
Officer, I told you this chapter of history wasn't on Mikhail.
The boy looks first at you, then back at his father.
Oh, I'm afraid it...
Wait, is...
Tape computers. They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars. What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of...
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short...
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bombe Baiser than Solind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book.
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy
Wait, did he just say Wompty Dumpty Dum Center? He did it. He said Wompty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural. What the hell is a Wompty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Joost?
The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to...
Actually, I think there is. No, it's too much. He's joking.
In fact, I'm not. The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback... Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the felt playback. Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain, but of course, what else? I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
Of course, Detective, I wouldn't have assumed anything. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the Vespertine Department of Justice has published a rather interesting paper. If not, then you definitely should. If not for tips and tricks, then just for theoretical curiosity. Yeah.
Forget it. They don't sell those kind of books at crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Pick your brain? If anything, this was rather one... You see, a once bright mural towering above you. The signage, a slogan used to intertwine with the loops.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Hey, la chaqueta. ¿Será la chaqueta?
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells. The cloth, if you can still call it that, makes a soft crunching sound. It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out. Unfortunately, that...
Please tell me you're not taking that with you. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to have it returned.
Ah, ¿y si me la pongo? Ah, no podemos usarla.
As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound. It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure? Some secrets are better left uncovered. Don't even try. Seriously. It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather it smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed. It must have spent quite some time in the water before the tide deposited it. Somehow, it was carried or dragged to the boardwalk. If not by human hands, then perhaps the feral dog. The faint impressions of many footprints are also present, though it's impossible to tell what kind or how many. Suffice to say, the jacket spent some time on the ground before someone draped it over the roof. The crust is hard. This jacket spent at least a day baking in the sun. Who knows what happened? It's too late. You've already thought about it, and now your hands are covered in muck. What? No. Then it'll just be on your pants. This is a disaster. You'll never get... As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound. There is no why.
A ver. Ey, no nos quitaba percepción. There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin. 2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too.
A tragedy.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy. Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes, known for their high top. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads, Shish Kebab Rev. It's no older than a day or two. No moldy. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The smell. It's awful and familiar. It doesn't help. You can still, don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency, that faintly cloying, something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. It is death. It must be. The lieutenant has already brought.
¿Es un muerto este entonces?
A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. Half of his body has slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the right leg. The fall, the smell is not as bad as a 2-week...
Hold on. Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. The leather jacket suits him well. It must be custom made. You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into two. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. This place is a minefield in His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair. There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle light. Be very, very careful where you step here. A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. This is what killed him.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you? Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man... You see waves churning below. Something cracks beneath you. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole. And you would... A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's...
Tear all around us. I'd prefer if you didn't collect them this time. It's not proper.
Grabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half the blackness of death. Stench. Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there. Solidified on his...
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol. Before. I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always...
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step.
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't, just... But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think? We do know that he was married. But you're right. Let's not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man. Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive. What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
No, I don't see anything that points in that direction.
Agreed. If this somehow converges later...
Oh yes. Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here, but I think that death arrived through. They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean. It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identity. From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle. A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal. I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. It would save us at least 2 hours of unnecessary work. Maybe, but we don't really have much time or resources to spare. The guys at processing. Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema. Let them know we are taking the case. Yes?
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his... Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the... Most of these titles seem to be in the side. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 00502.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema.
Good idea. There was plenty of information here to go. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Hasta mis gatos malvados querían atrapar un grillo, así es que tuve que quitárselos.
Nothing happens, only the sound of the padlock
I don't think that's going to work.
The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. 2 large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold. The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdy. It'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting, somehow. You see a yellow circle with 2 X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts, there is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. It's the contrast between the cheery, chemical yellow and the rigor mortis. As if the cheery guy didn't know he was dead. He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe them clean before inspecting the sticker. Then...
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency. For Revachol aussi, the moral intern defined junior delinquents as minors between the ages of 10 and 16 who have committed an act in violation. These acts aren't called crimes as they would be for adults. Crimes committed by minors are called delinquent acts. This was part of your officer's exams. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Voila! Looks very modern. You're part of the future brigade now, and so is your formerly humdrum ledger. Neon, baby. The padlock passes through a staple that's been hastily... Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off.
Maybe we should circle the building first and look for another way. The building has seen enough mistreatment. Yes, the pulsing base. A sure sign of junior delinquency, somewhere east of here.
There's something on the sea ice there. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood. It's the ledger you found. Oh, and an incredibly cool piece of kitchen. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock. Carelessly, you jam the pry bar between the lock and the staple and apply force. Your biceps bulge. The pathetic old wood, rusty screws, and one nail. Suddenly, the pry bar snaps. Metal shavings fly everywhere. The upper half, between the lock and the staple, falls to the ground with a thunk. The broken edge of the snapped pry bar is smooth.
Tools break, officer. Try to control yourself. I don't know. You don't? Or maybe we'll find a new one. I don't carry more than one pry bar with me. I thought this was a lousy way to enter a place of worship that's already in disrepair. I guess the church agreed.
This was surely just a freak accident. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. Nothing happens, only...
I don't think that's going to work.
The padlock passes. Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off.
You really want us in, but maybe we should circle the building.
The padlock, should you want to get through, this cheap looking, it'll be easier to break the staple than the... An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened.
It's military. A service depot of some sort. The washerwoman mentioned a depot up the coast. She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay. This might be...
It may have been used to service an aerostatic battleship in the atmosphere. Or a fortification, like a sea fort. An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune. Heavy wooden doors. Nothing happens.
I don't think that's going to work.
Nothing happens.
I don't think that's going to work.
The carving on the door is blocked. The doors remain unchanged, closed with a padlock. The carving on the door is block-like and angular. Like the surface is smooth from the wind, but moist. This cheap, it'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, the padlock passes. Should you want to get through, it might. This cheap look, it'll be easier to break the staple.
Ah, sí, la chaqueta se me olvidaba. Tenemos que devolver la chaqueta y tenemos que entregar el pájaro.
Tequila. I knew you'd come through. Let me see. What? This isn't my jacket. My jacket was beautiful. This is fucking filthy. What am I supposed to do with this? I'm not taking a disgusting pile of polo rags. I may be in an irrecoverably... Either bring it back the way it was before, or find a dumpster to burn it in.
You know, despite the guano, it looks like the jacket itself is stain resistant. It may just need a good scrubbing.
A ver, vamos a llevárselo a la señora a ver si la quiere lavar.
The library card is folded into two, and Billy is a...
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up. I can wash it for you. But it's going to take about a half an hour.
No, we must run around ceaselessly.
I could use a breather. It's been another track and field day.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do. Must say, I'm proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you take better care of it than its last owner.
No es bonita, pero pues creo que es útil. A ver si nos dice algo ahora que la tenemos puesta.
Tequila Sunset.
Drop in temperature, an easy flow there. An empty street. Before you, a thoroughfare unjammed with lorries. No more drivers smoking on hitch steps. Just chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop. Corrosion as the road is smooth and motley. Craters filled with a black asphalt. The asphalt first laid, a tub warm with water, white with soap. A man bathes while radio waves transmit the lottery number. Number 312D. Young girls used to come here, huddled up, hoping for more warmth than their thin coats give them. Craters pocked the surface. Children played in them until heavy trucks full of pitch rolled in. The landowners have filled.
Me baja la moral más a mí que
a dead dog lies flat about 200
que ese
paces
Harrier
away,
Dubois.
right at the turn. Tragedy comes from the wheels of a fast RCM vehicle, hurrying to work. The cold washes up. The wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands behind the boom barrier. A breeze moves.
Los criptozoólogos.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man...
Who's there? Oh,
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks...
Is that the police? Why are the...
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it. To what do I owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance.
Ah, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn waterlock is broken. And we can't go all the way around the 881.
The 881 is a raised motorway that separates Martinez from Jamrock. The labyrinth of streets underneath it makes it difficult to pass, not like walking over a nice waterlock.
You broke the waterlock with a motor carriage? There was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle. It said Samaran Butter.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you...
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going. Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it. Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant, and I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators. It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defences that allow it to interfere with animals, but I cannot describe how these defences work.
A ghost insect, he said? These people are looking for a ghost.
No, that is precisely what we're not. We are zoological specialists. I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about...
Seems puny, to be honest.
Typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of my, of any, cryptozoologist's career. Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our... Not yet. That's what makes it...
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence...
I know it's real.
It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid...
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition. Yes, the most recent sighting. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual... I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature.
He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate to produce viable eggs. This makes it easier for a species with a small population to survive.
Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly. Yes. Simple. Attracted by the at least, that's the intention. The net locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and a meat-eating stick insect. Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps. They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis.
The traps do seem to be deftly and thought.
Yes. What? I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for... It's not child's play. Just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often. Real. I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does. Indeed. My methods do not differ from...
Your nerve endings tell you there is no such thing as a positive surprise.
No, as I said.
Interesting. Something for later, this close call.
No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. Yes, the Chateauquin forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Uga. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop. Indeed. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it. From
He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion.
Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper.
He's interested in things that people believe that scientists...
Most establishment scientists only care about reputation and remuneration, not Yes? Alright. What cryptids precise?
We would have to discuss. He wants to say, but this... You need to ask him about specific cryptids. Cryptids you've heard about from Lena, or his friend Gary. He won't just talk.
A willow person. It's a long story.
Willow people? Not at all.
They're not people, really. Some argue they aren't really animals. They're very, very thin. Almost flat, in fact. And can camouflage themselves easily. Wrapping themselves around trees and You probably have. Gary and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow-drying paint. It was a bright light. After waiting in hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from... I chased it with a net. Not very elegant.
A lavender shadow.
I know you think we were snacking on funny mushrooms. It's easier to mock someone, and furthermore, I'm not saying it was a confirmed sighting. I'm painfully aware of what goes into verifying such things. There is a serious possibility that I saw a squirrel or a trick of the light. I am my own harshest
He makes it a real point here to sound falsifiable.
No offense, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. I don't know what I would have done. Me? I'm not a people person, unless you haven't noticed. And I don't make a good lecturer. My strength lies in by all means. And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
Come on, Morale. We've been soaking out here for days.
And leave the traps? Absolutely.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry.
Of course it's important to her. She's
seen it?
Yes, that's how we first came to. Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now. No.
He's dead set on this. I could go for some trap setting.
No deberíamos haber enojar Kim. Pero
I
bueno.
didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer. Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and there are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula. Another we set in Land's End. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of... You should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality.
That seems like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture? Is it?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this.
That's highly unlikely, officer. And in the event you do, I'll spray you with it's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
Finally.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be...
What about his eager to leave friend Gary there? Talk to him too, perhaps.
Hello, I'm Gary. Very generous of you to help. Yellow Man. I mean, officer.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly. Yellow Man. Interesting. This is something to...
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization. I like nature, just not this bloody coat.
Degenerates. This man respects authority too much. To see the truth inscribed upon thine own visage. Pretend thou art a paragon of virtue.
Oh, I've been tempted. But someone has to stay strong for Revocol.
He pronounces Revocol with a hard K, unlike other people.
I like to pronounce it the hard way. The old...
He winks at you, trying to relay some hidden message, inviting you to mispronounce it too. It's a secret rite. A very fringe nationalist handshake, probably.
Oh, so that's what the RCM in Martinique...
So you do know something?
No. Nothing. He was some...
He's not feeling very comfy in his clothes, is he? He didn't kill him or anything, but there's something going on here.
No. I helped Morel with research sometime.
After all this time with Morel, he must have an opinion on cryptids. This could lead to a good one.
Oh, yes. The burning rhino. Morel doubts he's real, but I don't much. A rhinoceros that looks ordinary during the day, but burns brightly by night. Well, at least the male. They have special ducts just above their shoulder blades that secrete a combustible fluid. When the
But how is this combustible fluid lit?
The rhino starts running very fast to build heat, then stops, raises its head, and sparks fly from its neck, setting its back ablaze.
We don't really do that around here.
Perhaps we should have more such decisive action in Revachol. You know, this city used to be a flaming rhino once. The flames are not just for decoration. They are an integral part. During the burning rhino's mating season, herds of male rhinos, all aflame, encircle herds of local peasants call it the
lieutenant sighs without looking up from his notes.
Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sail. I meant no offense, truly. No problem at all. My mug? Why would you think that? I may have had a similar looking mug in the past. That's all. Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away and you're not going to find me, are you? Okay, I deserve that. And I won't do it again. I don't know what got into me. Stuffing my garbage in another man's property, it's...
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law. I know a guy who works with the trash collection services. CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Mart, so I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Hemians run it like a mob. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs.
Disgraced. No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't.
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that. I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know? Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash. Okay. I was coming to throw the mug.
Right. It was just civic duty.
Exactly. That's it.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before, but where?
What sound? I haven't the slightest. There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds, though. Insect armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course.
An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit. There's something going on here. You should observe him more closely after this topic is concluded.
I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way.
Does this mean you were in his apartment, admiring his colonial mug collection? Perhaps it would be interesting to tell him.
sure do.
His eyes narrow slightly. He's wondering where this is going.
Mr. Everard? So you work for Everard Clare? Officer, please tell him we're good. No, tell him I'll make it. What have I done? He'll send the muscle.
As he lowers his tone, he hunches his back.
I was probably talking too loud in the whirling the other night about some theories. I won't do it again. If there's anything I can do to assist you, or the Union, just ask, okay? I'll try to help.
This scared him proper. He's positively melting from fear. Has to prop himself up with a lot of anger.
The weather vane has turned. He cannot be unturned.
Hey.
Is he? He's looking comfortable enough. Maybe it was just beads. Sounded like beads. But what kind of beads might a man like Gary be hiding beneath his clothes?
You wouldn't be able to hear if you were wearing anal beads. Please excuse my colleague's humor. Working this murder case is taking a toll on...
What he means is, working on the case is taking...
Of course.
A ver, ¿a qué horas tenemos que ir con el fumador? Ah, todavía falta.
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set before. Behind you, the ruins of a residential building rise over the reeds. Shielding them, locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten.
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go. I meant no offense, just...
Behind you, a ruin. A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other. Unable to piece together the big picture just now, there's a hole in their hypothesis. The scattering of bullet holes looks like one giant smiling mouth, smiling its deadly smile, laughing at you and the world and the living. A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from...
Correct. Meaning, this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic. The manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed after the revolution. guess.
¡Ey! ¡Por fin! Por fin podemos escuchar la puta cinta y a lo mejor hasta cantar karaoke.
The porter reel is just what you needed. The reel's attached to the apparatus. You press the large button marked Commencer, and the tape starts spinning. There's a small delay before the song starts playing. It sounds like someone's moving in the room, getting comfortable. Then the organ telling you about the tiniest church in Cessons, surrounded by even. Within seconds you know, this is the one, the real shit you've been looking for. A click, then silence for a bit. Then the tape stops spinning. Of course you could sing this. You could take sad. Yup, they're all here. And the B-side of the tape contains the instrumental version. It's like the world itself is telling you to do it. Only one obstacle stands. Gart. You have to convince Gart to let you sing karaoke in the
pues le vamos a dar el pájaro.
After you've won, the lieutenant watches you pack up the boombox.
Vamos a darle el pájaro y así nos va a dejar cantar. Van a ver. Qué bueno que vine por aquí. Hey, hay algo aquí interesante. Ah, la trampa de veras.
A familiar apparatus lies. The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. Some tufts have been crushed. The broken stalks seem like a rebuke. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. This trap is also full of panicked locusts. No
Another empty trap. Always up for a good jog. Otherwise, would I still be on this case with you?
Creo que vamos a acabar pronto, ahorita. Y mañana hacemos lo del karaoke. Creo que sería lo correcto. O podemos buscar por lo menos una puerta. La última trampa podríamos.
Yes?
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic. You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable. Calling. Still calling. This feels wrong. End of tone.
Pierre, is that you, Pierre? So nice of you to find the time to call me. It gets so lonely. Even the animals have died. Are you sure you're Pierre?
Her voice is drowned in white noise. You get a sinking feeling. It makes you look if Lieutenant Kitsuragi overheard you. To your relief, he did not. Calling. Still calling. Someone with a...
Hello, Gerard speaking.
Hello, Gerard. Technically speaking, no. What you are is a surprise. Get his wife on the phone.
Who is this? Who the fuck do you think you are talking to me like that? Just tell me what's going on.
The sounds. Amid the howling in the wire, you make out a woman's voice with a thick Samaran accent. More shouting. You're pretty sure you hear a man saying, you hear a faint thunk. You could swear you're hearing furniture falling over. You can't make out a single word. Just vague. Something hits the phone with a...
What the hell are you doing? You're right, you shouldn't. Let's just go. I've had enough of this phone booth.
This is the trap Morel just said. The reeds by the abandoned. It's good the cryptozoologists left. This isn't a very cozy. The later it gets, the colder. Remnants of the camp can still be seen in the sand. Nothing but locusts in this trap as well. Definitely.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we're done. I'm just glad we haven't found some poor cat trapped in one.
The reeds, but it's good that the later it gets.
coming back. That's good, officer. Keep browsing those clothes, keep saving that economy.
Ah, lo de la biblioteca.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? One moment. Can you please describe the body? Age,
We suspect he might have been in a
any signs of violence? Did you perform a field autopsy?
It looked like an accident to me.
You can hear her quickly typing.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes? Any information on the library card? Good. You have a list. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the... I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting. Hold on, officer. I've got Central Jamrock Public...
Yes, this is Central Jamrock Public Library here. How... Billy Majon, you said. Yes, hello, are you still there? I found Billy Majon's home address, is that alright?
They're too poor to have a phone line.
Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days ago, but I wasn't at work that day. Marie? Marie? Do you remember a reader named Billy Majon? They returned a Thibault book the other... Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband who returned the book. He also asked for this new sci-fi...
Good. You have a name now.
Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight. Marie? She said it was an older man, and that she's pretty sure he'd had a drink or... 1 second. Sorry, Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that. Marie knows Billy. She's been working here longer than me. Sometimes her husband returns some books for her. Happy we could help. Goodbye, officer.
Anything else you need from me? 57. Oh.
In the cabin, you see a... The face of King...
Hello, dear. I didn't notice you at first. Goodness, how is he? Did he say what?
He's fine, ma'am. He couldn't get back early.
Oh, yes. But I am so relieved to hear that.
Now maybe she'll open up about those fascinating cryptids. Take her mind off all this.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's rambling.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5.
Betoncourt got bombed in the war. It used to be quite...
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, for years it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, most people we were on our first date when I told him my story. You should have seen his face. He said my descriptions matched our first. Yes.
The sigh is tender.
Not all of them, as far as I remember. Some of them. It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then.
What if it is the case?
I thought it was a wonderful story, man.
Of course. I've thought about it. So how did I know what to imagine? You trying to tell us you're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day.
No, you don't have any new winning tactics to get the woman to spill the beans about cryptids.
Can I help you? No, you don't. It's not happening.
He tries not to look at you. It's dangerous to acknowledge the karaoke man.
The Whirling's not a charity or a musical therapy clinic. It's a commercial establishment. You're going by causing more trouble. I think we're good. It's for no one. It's a prop. I'm not letting anyone use it after the great karaoke catastrophe of '44. A lot of people got killed because some arsehole wanted to sing karaoke. Okay, yes, it's for some clients. Ha! Well, we don't have any tapes. They all got stolen.
The man in the vest and the violet shirt stares at the tape you've just given him. He begins.
Fine, fine. Climb on that stage and do your thing. Just get out of my hair.
I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles to himself.
What is this thing? Okay, well, this is actually a nice bird. A competent piece of taxidermy. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess? So, I don't know. Thank you. I'm gonna go with thank you.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people random stuffed animals.
It's not actually about that, but he liked it.
Muy bien, vamos a cantar.
The stage is all set up for your performance. Feels silent. You feel a little dizzy, a little
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
A ver, vamos a mejorar nuestra teatralidad. Por ejemplo, nos vamos a quitar esto. Esto lo dejamos. ver qué tal.
The stage is all... You feel a little dizzy.
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
I can see that.
Immediately, a loud feedback noise startles the room. You feel like an amateur. Hands. Where do you put your hands? The stage is all... You feel a little...
So, are you ready for your thing?
There are some people out there, but mostly a post-meridian slumber has fallen on the premise. Not super lively.
No, creo que la cagué, ¿verdad? ¿Qué fue después de las llamadas?
You pick up the handset. There's a tone. The machine is operable. The lieutenant shrugs apathetically.
Creo que nos podría ayudar un poquitín.
This is the trap. The reeds by the... It's good. The later it gets, nothing but locusts in...
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we're done. Of course. Noted.
Nothing has changed about... You see two lowly,
I can see you with taste for luxury.
a pair of dedicated,
Those sneakers.
only fun ultra, wear the future. You remember the slogan from some magazine. These once respectable, a small...
No, don't look at the speakers, officer. Look at the sneakers. The sneakers are these, officer?
Samaran trash. That sounds like they're from the Samaran People's Republic.
No way, officer. These aren't for sale. They're bad speakers. Low-fi socialist junk. No, officer. You're a high-class policeman who accepts nothing less than the best. Lucky for you, I've got... Well, but see, if on the other hand...
Damn, so you have to buy the sneakers first. The speakers below are bank...
Everything's still cool here, officer. You keep coming back. That's good, officer. Keep browsing those clothes, keep saving that economy.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and...
This is Precinct 57. Hold on. I've got Central...
Yes, this is Central. Billy Majon. Yes, hello.
They're too poor to have a phone.
Here we go, sir.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
It says here that Marie... Yes, it was my cousin.
Good. You have a name now.
Marie knows Billy. Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by... Marie! She said it was an old... sorry. Marie wasn't really happy we could help.
Anything else you need from me? One moment. Can you please describe the body?
We suspect he might have...
Any signs of violence? No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly typing.
What about his belongings? Did you examine it? Any information on the library card? Good. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone? I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kitsuragi. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you? 57.
In the cabin, you see as...
Hello, dear. Goodness.
He's fine now.
Oh, yeah, but I am so...
You haven't, however. Now maybe she'll open up about those...
Oh, you don't want to hear about some...
Reflexively.
Well, it was summer. I was...
Beton cord.
The stranger... I didn't know this I tried, but I ran for years. We were on our first date when I told him our first...
The sigh is 10.
Not all of them. It's hard to...
What if it is the case?
I thought it was a wonderful story.
Of course. So, you trying to tell us you saw the insulin... You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get...
Sometimes the most charming thing you can do is be reasonable.
I suppose you could use a break, and I could use...
One cryptid, like you said. One. This can't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza. We have things to do.
He nods and assumes, oh, cryptids. Let's hear, ooh, tough choice there.
The Gnome of Jeroma. Oh, it is. None of its victims survived. It was reportedly a small creature. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. It still took the Gnome of Jeroma.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the...
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient? Sure, a perfectly good...
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
The lieutenant paused.
Ah, fuck it. Let's have more cryptids.
Well, the biggest cryptid is, of course, the horror. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara. Mirage or a psychogenous luminance. No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon. The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen.
Hui. No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very... There are limits, you see, to how large...
Gravity anomaly? Digging it.
Cryobacter catlensis. Yes, a unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Kotla. Bacterial colony Mijanu found had remained. Mijanu disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. Yes, the bacteria...
It's actually a little hard to see, but do go on.
Yes, and she's quite mad, too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, we can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for... What an interesting question.
Of course. All fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them. Okay, I won't spoil your fun. What is the invisible?
It's the Col de Mamadakwa. Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is.
Col de Mamadakwa can also be translated as a whisper light and low.
Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of Areopagite ornithologists, when playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first. But the scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on... They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Col de Mamadakwa, after the Paracanassian name. They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Sequester, Time, Joscan, those are but some of the Mamadakwa they followed individually. It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives. And yes, although the low part is a little ironic, the Col de Mama...
Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound?
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits. That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work, they tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out psst.
They cancel each other out. Psst.
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, but after that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in AI.
Of course. A common thread in these. Disappearance and...
I'm glad you did, dear. What about what? Yes. It's the kind green ape. Half-war story. Yes, it was reported by soldiers in South Safra during the war. The kind green ape would visit bunkers during the... Yes, it has amazing healing... Indeed, there is. It's our closest relative among the cryptid, which is to say the kind green ape is a species with which we share a common ancestor and that evolved parallel to our own. Just like your partners.
The lieutenant looks at you, pleasantly surprised.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to imply that Saelites are inferior to us in many ways. You are superior. For example, your ear...
A tremendous evolutionary advantage, I'm sure. But perhaps we've had enough speculative by...
I'm glad you like them, but I'm not really one to tell you...
You know, to hell with...
Of course, officers. I'm glad you like...
Aces low. For the rest of the world, the Aces Low is just some cool Revachol thing, politically neutral. In Revachol, it still holds revolutionary connotations. Also, have you looked at Lieutenant Kitsuragi's clothes? He wears a bomber jacket, just like the ones worn by aerostatic brigades. And those cargo pants look like they could fit tools for hot-fixing your burning aerostatic. You should ask him about this.
Can I help you?
What is this thing?
Okay, well, I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess?
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people random stuffed animals.
It's not actually about that.
No, you don't. It's not.
He tries not to look at you. It's dangerous to acknowledge the karaoke man.
It's for a lot of people got killed because some arsehole wanted to sing karaoke. Okay, yes, it's for some clients. Ha!
He's lying, but whatever. The man in the vest and the...
Fine.
I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles.
Ahora sí a cantar sin...
The stage is all... You feel a little dizzy, a little
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
A ver. Nada más llamamos la atención de Kim.
Yes? What is it?
Again? I can't...
He might be wearing a disguise.
Vamos a cantar sin más ni
The
más.
stage is all... You feel a little dizzy.
So, are you ready for your thing now?
The air is thick with anticipation. The tape clicks into the carousel, and then the music starts.
I would often go there, to the tiny church there. The smallest church in Saint-Saëns. Though it once was larger. How the realm may rest there. Down through the mist there.
Puta, sí es tristísima, ¿eh?
Toward the seven sisters. Toward those pale cliffs there. I would often stay there. In that tiny yard there. I have been so glad here. Looking forward to the past here. But now, you are all alone. None of this matters. No, none of this matters at all.
Qué lindo.
Not bad.
Yes, not bad at all.
Okay, yes. I'm going to unplug the microphone, so you can get off the stage now.
Yes? What about me? What? This? It's just seasonal clothing. Where is this going? Interesting. I think it's called the brain.
It's no mere brain.
Okay, art cup. I do not harbor a sentiment for revolutionary air brigades in particular. Okay, I wanted to become an aerostatic pilot. Then I turned 10 and realized we no longer have an air force. Absolutely nothing.
The revolutionary must have added a little luster to it. For a 10-year-old Kitsuragi, he will...
I've noticed. And okay, the revolution employed a more forward-looking 8-rotor design. Their blades were foldable. I see this from a purely tactical standpoint, of course. Good. Good. Let's change the subject.
It's always good to see you.
Something in her demeanor has changed. She's tired, consigned to her fate.
Let's see. I wrote down the nickname. We have questions that might help solve some gaps in our...
The young woman craned. Everything left to be clarified is in the column on the left.
Enamorando, officer.
The Lelystad municipality has few boroughs and even...
You were almost right, officer. That means his race was occidental, not mondial. I'll update the form.
Yes.
Did that bring you together?
No. He was too old.
Sex, alcohol, no love for Mother Araignée. But wasn't he a soldier? This could be worth pursuing.
No. He left the National Service after they taught him to do what he did on Seminine. He wasn't the flag-waving kind. He was by no means a stupid man. A people person. A small platoon leader. Certainly not a patriot. No, there's nothing on Moindy. The old... I love Revachol, though. I hope she... He was 42.
42? Are you sure?
He had many scars that made him appear older. We even celebrated his birthday, like, some weeks ago.
We were slightly off then. Thank you for clearing it up.
A miss. The adversary won.
Blue. Light blue. They were like little blue galaxies. Pardon the swearing. I do him an injustice. He wasn't ugly. And he had a
He had a combat wound on his cheek?
Yes. Severe.
Ah, yes. His hair, if you can remember?
It was light brown, almost blonde. He darkened it with brilliantine. Made oily, isn't it? We have that in common now.
She understands what autopsies entail. It doesn't get her off balance.
Oh, it was a map of his life and the places he visited as a soldier. It was mostly for showing off to chicks. How? Imagine him lying in bed, freaking.
Is this Orani's lit?
Yes. This is the very essence of Orani's lit. A moment's respite. Dark and he's smoking and drinking, of course. And the woman goes like, "What was this?" And he says, "That was too hardcore. Don't ask me about that." And so it goes. Star after star. Port after... Oh, yeah. No, thank you. I've seen enough of him dead.
Go on.
He was a blue-eyed boy with thick arms, from a small town. He was also poor, and the government of Oranje needed some people killed. He went to Killer Academy in Vredefort. Then he killed some people on the Seminine Islands. And on other islands, too. All of the islands. After this, he came to Revachol. It is when you're high. It can be very exciting then. You have the tools to deal with it. It's not a very nice story to remember when you're sober. It very well could be, yes. What do I mean? I have no idea. I don't even know what you mean. Love did him in? What is... That's not funny, officer.
Her voice is like a slash through the air. Her shoulders tense up.
A real rainbow splattering of pharmaceuticals, I bet. How much does the toxicology report cost the police of Revachol? I can do it for...
It's quite expensive, miss. But we'll manage without your help for now.
A moment ago it was love. And no, I don't think the Union is communist. They're not hardcore in that way, is what I'm trying to say. What are we talking about anyway?
I think she's just tired. She doesn't know what you meant by that. The lieutenant blinks. His expression. All right, let's see where this is going.
Cool.
All right.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more coffee.
I understand.
Just like that. No resistance. Her shoulders are slouched, her feet long and straight.
I knew there was a chance you'd get them to tell you. It's what you do. For what it's worth, I'm sorry for wasting.
This is good. Clear the air first. Between... Is it? Something is off here. Shush. I can't hear what she's saying. Let the miss speak. She's tall and thin and tired.
If you knew we would find out eventually, why did you waste our time?
Because of the Hardys. I couldn't just dispense with them. They were only trying to help me. Out of the shit I'd gotten into. You're right. There's more. You answer to the coalition government, and by extension, the moral intern.
Briefly glancing over her shoulder to the sea, a grand expanse of water reaches over the bay and to the horizon. Wine dark in the evening light. The Pale, the Muindi Isola, the Occident, and then Oranje, the old world.
You share a database with them. You send people to their courts. Just business. But bad business for some people in the moral intern.
What happens if they do?
They will kill me, sir. If you file my name, take me in for questioning, well, then I'm fucked. For nothing. This murder didn't have anything to do with me.
Fucked? People after her? Moral intern. Actually, this murder did have a little to do with her.
It's not nice, but it's...
What exactly did you do?
Industrial espionage. I joined a business collective with the intention of betraying them. With a bigger company. The kind you really, really don't fuck with.
I need the names of the companies involved, and...
The job was Lewsdown County Savings Bank. They sound small, but they're part of the Lewis Scott conglomerate. As to who hired me for the job, I don't know. But they're after me.
Lowe's Cap. These people engineer financial disasters in second world countries. The conglomerate also includes the Bank of Consecration, Airberg, and the popular Papalolo line of dairy products.
Yeah. Papa fucking Lolo wants to kill me. I am a destroyer. People lost their job. A lot of people got hurt. But that's just more of my shit you shouldn't have to deal with. You're solving a murder. I did. I also had a side job selling insurance that I was really good at. Got big. After that, I sort of, transitioned out of the whole culture. We were there. Okay. He was in a kneeling position. He had just entered me. I was on my back, looking at him. I heard the window behind me shatter, and I turned to look. I turned back to him. His eyes were looking through me, and his...
Her chest rises and falls with each word.
I knew he was dead, before he fell down on top of me. He was heavy. I pushed him off, and he fell to the floor. There. He only had his boots on. I bit the pillow, not to scream. I waited for the second shot to come. For me.
She's forgotten about her cigarette. The butt has burned right down to her fingernails.
Oh. So am I.
What time was this? When did it happen?
11:30 to 12:15. I don't know the exact time. Around.
It's okay. Were you inebriated?
Not as much as usual.
Wait. Titus said she was gurning her jaw off. Much more than usual.
Oh, yeah. I did one of his lines. Just to...
Good thinking. Clear your head. You should...
Did you hear or see the shooter in the course of this?
No. Nothing. I was trapped. I was stuck in my room downstairs. He was still on the floor, slouched,
I couldn't be there with him anymore. Sylvie was tending the bar. A lot of people were there. The Hardys were at the table in front of the stage. Ruby was there too. They were having such a good time. I sat down and they all welcomed me. I didn't even have to say anything.
Ruby?
Ruby. You know, the leader.
La líder.
The leader?
Of the Hardy Boys. Well, nominally, yes. Ruby's the one they go to when things happen, like things they need taken care of. Well, Ruby said let's talk upstairs. I showed her the room. I've known these people since December. They know my situation. She said she'd take care of this. It's what she does, you know, take care of things.
To mislead you, they were
to produce lividity.
Yes.
We completely missed the tampering. Looks like you got there in time.
About 20, yes. Ruby explained it would make the blood... You know what he does. Ruby went outside to talk to Titus and the boys. I was just looking at Lely in the bathroom. It took Ruby maybe half an hour to come back with Titus. I'd gotten him ready by then. They carried him out. I knew what they were going to do. Make it look like... Ruby said to wait here. She also said I wouldn't see her for a while. I don't know. I haven't seen her since.
We will need to take this question to the Hardy Boys.
Interesting. Why did this Ruby go through so much trouble to hide something someone else did?
When he was shot? I may have.
The gunshot wasn't that loud.
This is something no habremos sido nosotros.
Assessing the distance of the shot.
What? Why would I put myself through this? Insanity. He wouldn't have died if it weren't.
All kinds of crazy things happen when drugged. He was a serviceman. He must have had a gun. Somewhere, lying around, close to her hand.
No. I specifically asked him not to carry firearms when he was with me. He only had his stupid armor. I'm sad to hear that. They must have said it in some fit of frustration or under pressure. They couldn't have meant it. I've talked to them after it happened. I did not kill him to defend...
True, sire. 'Tis true.
What does that mean?
Do drugs make you aggressive?
No. I thought Ravishal would...
The lieutenant gives you... It's not one of respect. You may want to add a clever retort to this one.
I'm sorry. I withdraw what I said. I didn't mean to judge anyone. Like what? That's the first thing that went through my head when I heard the glass. I thought they'd found me. They've killed him to punish me. All that so they wouldn't be hurt. I've come to understand, however, this is paranoia. I just don't know.
We can't go after loose cap.
I don't ask you to, Lieutenant, because I'm an idiot.
Which is an indicator of idiot. She's nothing of the sort.
You have to understand, the people around here, no one was making the call, and he kept rotting.
Her jaw is clenched. Her throat moves.
He kept throwing stones at him for 3 days. I could hear the thud. Thud. So I called you.
She definitely called the cops. That was task complete. It could not have been a lie. That is impossible.
Last week, Angus and...
You should have another look at that window after this. Yes, you see the glass sparkling out of the corner of your... She nods, silently. She doesn't even... He's thinking, are we done here? Or... Who? What? Dear God, you've been lied to. She could have killed her lover and lied to everyone. She probably didn't give you her real name either. Why would she? Arrest her immediately before she further entangles you in her web of lies.
But I haven't done anything. Anything.
She purposefully fucking mind games. That's right, gang. Stern and merciless now. Stern and merciless as we reel her in. The lieutenant produces a pair of handcuffs.
Please, no.
But there's nowhere to go. A 2-story drop to the Plaza Mosaic.
I think I know who did it. Who shot Lely. I can tell you. I can help you.
She's silent for a second, as if looking into herself for certain.
Ruby. She has this thing for me. Ever since I met her and the boys downstairs. She's been pretty frank.
What she's saying is... sex?
Sex. And more. I made the mistake of confiding in her. I told her I was on the run. When I started spending time with Lely, she told me to end it. Said there would be shit if I didn't. It was...
I don't understand. What exactly in your relationship made you think she's romantically interested in you?
She said she's in love with me. She even asked me to run away with her when I told her I'm a fugitive.
And you led her on?
A little. I was flattered, you know? But then I had to let her off, and it was not easy. I came to regret being friendly with her. We maybe kissed, nothing more.
This is just an assumption.
I know what it sounds like. That's why I didn't want to tell you before. Somehow, she knew Lely was dead. She wasn't surprised at all.
This is a familiar theory. You had it too, remember? Could it be that Ruby was covering up after herself? The lynching?
She came over one night, drunk, and she's a pro. She must be. To keep the Hardys in line. I tried
Some of that fear is still with her. She exhales sharply. What are you talking about? She's afraid you'll arrest her.
She could have had access to the roof. You've noticed that door there. She could have come to the roof through that.
Then slipped back downstairs without anyone noticing.
Interesting theory. Did she...
Yes, of course. She's been up here many times, jacking private stations off the ring antenna. She used to come here to drink on the roof with me.
Okay. And what? Arrest the liar. Why? She told us some pretty interesting things. She's stuck here. She's already in prison. Look around. She's only trying to help you. Her. Stop letting her distract you.
Still? After all this, sir, please. It's a shitty world, but I don't deserve to be sent to the moral intern and ground.
She's gearing up for a last stand. This is it.
You have those station calls, right? Where I have to show up at the station or I'll become a fugitive. You can write me one. You don't have to take me in right now. I know you can do that.
You do have the form.
By God, she's playing him too. Like a fiddle, sire. Who would have known?
I don't know. To spend my days with smoke, drink and dance, wallowing in shit. Everything could change. This city, the extradition rules, the people after. Maybe Ravachol could be free. I could be tried in a free.
I find that hard to believe, miss.
The world can change. It's changed before.
Her political overture has succeeded, we see. She looks at you in silence, her face filled with fear. Wait. If you arrest her, Kim will have to transport... Shut up. He's making a decision, and it's his to make.
Me voy a arrepentir, pero la voy a dejar ir. Porque soy un idiota y eso es lo que hacemos los idiotas.
I won't, sir.
I agree. You wouldn't give us your real name, not when people are after.
Okay. Okay, it's not. You log your work every week. It's all transmitted to Common, sir. I couldn't... Like I lied before. Like I did at LCSB. I have to lie all the time. No. It's submerged in a plastic buoy on the coast.
Falsified documents?
Passport and visa. Given to me.
Why would they do that?
I didn't show up to a rendezvous. They don't take that lightly. I didn't show up because I was afraid they'd do something to me. West of the boardwalk, in the reeds, on the coast there. I put it there when I first arrived. Haven't been there. It's useless.
The lieutenant makes a note of it.
You're welcome to it. It's in the reeds northwest of here, past the Bergen sewage pipe. It's Katarzyna Lazie.
It's a Grad name, Jimsk or Yugograd in origin, not Occidental at all. Smells of motor oil. It also makes Klazia almost an alacronym for Katarzyna Alazia.
It was a sentimental thing. I wanted...
A nickname? Who gave you this nickname, Klazia?
A teenage boy. 1,000,000 years ago. My parents were Zhimsk immigrants, but I'm nationalized Oranese. All I remember is Oranje. Allah.
She nods. Her round eyes meet yours. They seem moist from the wind on the roof.
I am. They can never take my sash and my
Yes, they can, for lying. She nods, her back straight, ready for whatever is next.
I did. What is... There was an older woman on the...
That is the... Anyone could know that, sire. By look...
What time did you make the call?
Thursday night.
It checks out.
But I know the time of the call, too. I know I have not been 100% truthful with you, officers. But I am now. What?
Her hand trembles. She's only pretending she didn't hear you say, devil woman.
There may be grounds here.
A little whimper. The young woman hears you. She nods.
Okay.
She slowly lights. You are. This is not the end of this. Nothing happens. The sky is low.
Silence, officer. Wouldn't have thought you the silent type.
Wait, stop. That man, bloated beyond all recognition, was 42? Below the damage, the weeks of decomposition, all the swollen How old are you? That's where this is going. You could ask either one of them.
Huh? How old? 58? You asked. 42. And he was deceased. He had been decomposing for a week.
There's silence. Then a little...
Sure, you're 42.
Wait. This requires scientific measurements. To the laboratorium.
Bueno, ahora sí, suficiente por hoy.